The cliffs were colder than I remembered. The wind carried the sharp scent of salt and old memories, stinging my eyes as I climbed the narrow path toward the spot Mrs. Parker had told me about. It wasn't marked like a proper grave, just a patch of ground beneath a weathered oak, surrounded by wild grass and sea lavender. Someone, years ago, had placed a small wooden cross there. The letters RH had nearly faded with time. For a long time, I just stood there. The sea roared below, the same endless rhythm that had stolen him from me decades ago. "Robert," I whispered, kneeling beside the earth. "If you're really here, then who's in my house?" The question hung in the wind. I brushed away a bit of dirt near the cross and found something half buried. A small piece of metal, rusted but still faintly golden. I picked it up. It was a broken locket. Inside, behind cracked glass, was a faded photograph. Our wedding day, my hand on his arm, both of us laughing. That locket had gone missing years before the storm. I'd searched for it everywhere. I felt my throat tighten. There was no denying it. Robert had been buried here. Someone had brought that locket from our home to his grave. Then the truth hit me like a wave. Whoever was living in my house, whoever was wearing Robert's face, had been inside this graveyard before. I took the locket, pressed it to my chest, and walked back down the hill. The sun was setting, the sky turning crimson and violet. When I reached home, the lights were already on. The smell of coffee filled the air. He was in the kitchen, humming softly. "You were gone a while," he said without turning around. "I went to the cliffs," I said quietly. He froze, spoon halfway to the cup. "The cliffs?" "Yes," I said, watching him. "I found the place they buried you." For a long moment he said nothing. Then he put the spoon down and turned toward me. His face was pale. "I see," he said softly. "So you know what?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He looked tired, older somehow. "Evelyn, I didn't want to hurt you. I thought you deserved the truth." My heart pounded. "What truth?" He sighed and walked into the living room. From the drawer under the old cabinet, he pulled out a folder. It was worn and faded, marked with a government seal. He handed it to me. My fingers trembled as I opened it. Inside were yellowed papers, official letters, and a photograph of a rescue crew. "This," he said quietly, "is what really happened the night of the storm." According to the report, Robert's ship, the Evelyn Rose, hadn't just been caught in bad weather. It had been on a secret transport mission for a marine research company. They were carrying experimental equipment, something valuable enough that when the storm hit, the company covered up the details. 2 crewmen survived, but were told never to contact the families. Their names had been changed, identities erased, and then my eyes caught something. A name on the survivor list. David Harlan. The man who had rescued Robert from the water, or the man who had taken his place. I looked up at him, shaking. "Who are you?" He met my eyes, his own glistening. "My name was David Harlan. I was Robert's first mate. We were best friends." I stepped back. "That's not possible. You have his face, his scars, his voice." He nodded. "I know, because I nearly died with him. The wreck burned half of my face. When they found me, the doctors reconstructed what they could using the only photo the company had. Robert's ID picture." The words sank in slowly, painfully. "So you've been living with his face?" He nodded. "Yes. For years I didn't remember who I was. When my memory came back, I realized who he'd been. The man who'd saved me. The man who gave me his life jacket so I could survive." Tears stung my eyes. "And you came back here, pretending to be him." He shook his head quickly. "No, I came to tell you the truth. But when I saw you," he swallowed hard, "you looked at me the way you used to look at him, and I didn't have the heart to break it right then." The silence between us was unbearable. I didn't know what to feel. Grief, anger, pity, all tangled together. He continued softly. I thought maybe I could make things right. I had no one else, Evie. No family. No home. I just wanted to give you back a piece of what you lost. I sat down slowly, the room spinning around me. So you're telling me, I whispered, that Robert is really gone? Yes, he said. He died saving me. I looked at the man before me. The same eyes, the same voice, the same hands that had once held mine. But now I knew the truth behind them. He wasn't my husband, but he was the reason my husband never came home. That night, neither of us spoke much. He sat in silence near the fire, staring into the flames. I went to my room, clutching the locket in my hand. For years, I had dreamed of Robert walking through that door again. I thought it would be a miracle. I thought it would heal me. But now I realized, maybe some parts of the past aren't meant to return. The night after the truth came out, I didn't sleep. The storm outside my window was a cruel echo of the one from 41 years ago. Wind rattling the panes, rain streaking down the glass, every gust whispering Robert's name. Downstairs, I could hear David, or the man I'd thought was Robert, moving quietly in the kitchen. The faint clink of a cup, the sigh of old floorboards, the rhythm of a man carrying too much guilt. At dawn, I went downstairs. He was sitting at the table, hands folded, eyes fixed on the locket I had set down the night before. You kept it, he said softly. I kept everything, I replied. Every letter, every photo, every piece of him. He nodded slowly. He would have wanted that. Something in me broke then. The anger, the confusion, the impossible hope I'd carried for decades. I sat across from him. Tell me everything. No more lies. He took a deep breath, his gaze far away. We were 3 hours off the coast when the storm hit. The company had loaded equipment they said was for ocean mapping, but it wasn't. Robert found out it was experimental sonar technology being tested for defense contracts. He wanted to turn the ship around, but the company sent radio orders to continue. His jaw tightened. Then the system malfunctioned. It sent a pulse through the hull, burned out the engines, tore open the storage compartment. Robert went below deck to shut it down. I followed him. The next thing I remember was water, fire, and him shoving a life jacket into my hands. His voice cracked. He said, "Tell Evelyn I love her." That's the last thing he ever said. The air between us went still. My tears came silently. Not for David, not even for the deception, but for the memory of the man who had saved another when he could have saved himself. What happened after? I whispered. He rubbed his temples. I woke up in a hospital in Doha. The company's agents were already there. They said they'd take care of me, but only if I signed a document saying I was Robert. I didn't understand then. They said it was a matter of national security. He met my eyes. When I realized what they'd done, changed my records, altered my face, it was too late. I wasn't David anymore. I was Robert Harlan. Legally and physically, he let out a bitter laugh. You can't imagine what it's like to look in the mirror and see someone else's soul staring back. I felt the room tilt with disbelief. Why didn't you come to me? Why wait 41 years? He looked away. Because by the time I pieced together the truth, you'd already built a life of memories around a ghost. I thought telling you would destroy that peace. Peace? I said bitterly. I spent half my life mourning him, and the other half wondering why the sea never returned his body. His shoulders slumped. I know. I'm sorry. That morning, I went to the old cedar chest in the attic. The one filled with Robert's letters and ship documents. I found his last envelope, the one that had arrived a week before the storm. It wasn't a love letter. It was a warning. If anything happens, don't trust the company. Promise me that. They've changed our route. Something isn't right. Tell our son. The letter ended abruptly, the last words smudged by water. I stared at it for a long time. My hands trembled. He'd known. Robert had known something dangerous was happening, and they'd silenced him. I turned back toward David. We need to tell someone. The world deserves to know what they did. He looked at me with haunted eyes. I tried once. The people behind that company aren't the kind that let secrets breathe. 2 of the crewmen who refused the agreement, they vanished. The 3rd died in a fire. So you ran, I said quietly. He nodded. Until I couldn't anymore. Until I came back here. Later that day, we sat on the porch, the rain finally easing. The sea stretched endless and silver before us. Do you ever think he forgave you? I asked after a long silence. David's voice broke. No, but I hope he would have. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small object wrapped in cloth. This belonged to him, he said. He gave it to me before the last storm. I was supposed to deliver it to you. I unwrapped it carefully. Inside was a simple gold bracelet with an engraving on the inside. E+R, until the tide turns. My breath caught. I remembered the day he'd given it to me. Our 10th anniversary. I'd lost it in the move, or so I'd thought. Tears blurred my vision. You kept this all these years. He nodded. It was all I had left of the man I owed my life to. That night, I lit a candle near the window, the same way I had every night for decades after Robert disappeared. But this time, the flame didn't feel like grief. It felt like closure. I finally understood that the man who returned wasn't a lie. He was a living echo of Robert's last act of love. Saving someone else's life. And maybe, in some way, Robert had come back after all. Through the man he saved. The next morning, we drove to the old government archives in the city. I decided to search for every piece of information about the research project. David warned me it was dangerous, but I couldn't let the truth die, buried beneath bureaucracy. We met a retired naval officer named Captain Turner, who'd been part of the original investigation. His eyes widened when he saw the old ship log I brought. You shouldn't have this, he said. It belonged to my husband, I replied. He died because of what your company hid. Turner hesitated, then sighed heavily. Ma'am, what they were testing wasn't just sonar. It was a deep frequency transmitter, the kind that could disable submarines from miles away. It was unstable, unapproved, and illegal. He poured himself a drink. Robert Harlan tried to shut it down when he realized what they'd done. He saved the coast from a disaster that night. The company buried the project, and everyone who knew about it. My knees felt weak. Then he really did save lives. Turner nodded slowly. He did, and I regret staying silent. He handed me a folder. Inside were copies of the original transmissions from the night of the storm. Proof that Robert had tried to warn the mainland. Proof that the company ignored him. When I looked up, Turner was pale. Take that and go. If anyone knows you have it, you won't be safe. That evening, back at the house, David sat quietly by the fire. I told him everything. For a long time, neither of us spoke. The truth was too heavy, too sacred. Finally, he said softly, "Then maybe now you can let him rest." I nodded. "Maybe we both can." He smiled faintly, a tired, grateful smile. You know, in all these years, I never stopped hearing his voice. It's strange. Sometimes I think he's been guiding me back here, all along. I placed the bracelet on the mantle beside the locket. The 2 pieces of him finally reunited. Then I looked at the man who'd once been his shadow and said, "You don't have to be him anymore, David. You can be you again." His eyes shimmered. "And you can finally stop waiting at the window." That night, for the first time in 41 years, I didn't light the candle. Instead, I opened the window and let the wind carry the scent of the sea inside. Free, untamed, alive. I whispered into the night, "Thank you, Robert, for saving him, and for saving me. Saving him, and for saving me."